We're gonna do Jin next. You have no say in this.
I'm okay with that. I was actually going to say, might as well do the brother.
Soldier of the Novosaurus Librarian, despite earning the title of hero for his achievements in past battles, he disobeyed his orders one day and headed for the 13th Hierarchical City alone as if I couldn't even finish, bro!
Dang it! So close! You're so close. We'll get him next time. I hope you don't have to turn into Rap God to be able to read these.
I hope not. I'm terrible at rapping.
It's such a pain, but I'll stay with you. The wheel of fate is turning. Rebel, one.
So because there were so few characters in this game, there was some interactions between the really odd pairs of characters in this game. But not between all of them, because the budget wasn't quite where it needed to be until the next game.
Right.
You see, when you do the Continuum Shift arcade modes, I don't know if you are going to want to do those alone, if your PC allows, or if I'm going to do those too, either or. But whenever you do them, you'll get to see interactions between a lot of different characters. You'll get to see the interaction between Jin and Tager, probably one of my my personal favorites from Continuum Shift.
That's going to be a good one. But yeah, I do hope that my PC works for the, for when I do the arcade mode in this one, at the very least. I hope so.
I think Continuum Shift Vanilla probably has the hardest arcade mode. This is debatable because you can actually change arcade mode difficulty. Arcade mode difficulty, unlike Score Attack, is something you can change in the settings. And I think I played Central Fiction on hard, and let me tell you, there is a certain boss that's, like, complete and utter BS. Rachel is an arrogant little girl.
She kind of is.
Certain characters are just a lot harder to fight in arcade mode as AI, having access to your inputs. Tager is one of them.
Yeah.
Because if he sees you press a button, he can just outspeed it. If he sees you try to throw a projectile full screen, he can just instant spark bolt. Probably one of the more brutal AI fights. I think that some of the other harder AI fights are characters you actually haven't met yet, only being in a Continuum Shift.
Really? Okay.
The movesets definitely get crazier and crazier the further in you go with the new characters.
Sounds about right. From the kings of anime fighters, that makes sense. Handedly handed it to Carl. Handedly.
You do. I've seen multiple people throughout my years, as I've introduced people to BlazBlue, say, "Oh, look at Carl! Look, he's so cool! Look at his little hat!" And then they play the plot, and they're like, "Carl, you're a little shit."
Yeah, sounds about right.
Carl is probably among the easiest to beat in terms of AI, which balances out because definitely top tier in most of the games.
Right.
And you see here, Jin actually does remember Carl at the academy. Easy to forget that those two did know each other when they were younger.
Yeah.
Kind of a glossed over interaction, but one that exists.
Yeah.
The wheel of fate is turning.
Jeez, that bass.
So, something that's very interesting about this game, mechanically speaking, just to show you something funny, is that they did not know how to do, like, move probation that well, which is why you can do stuff like this. That's, the Calamity trigger special, if you will.
Ah yes, the pimp hand. The constant slaps. Makes sense that if anybody were to keep the pimp hand strong, it would be Jin.
But you can do that with like everyone in this game. I think I've seen
Yeah.
Ragna get to 11. It's pretty funny.
Instead of doing anything that does more damage, he goes with the disrespect. The true damage.
Which isn't honestly all that bad of an option when you
No.
take into consideration damage scaling. If you start a combo with a move like 5A, which is just the light attack for those of you who aren't familiar with button annotation,
Yeah.
the following combo isn't going to do nearly as much damage as if you started with something like this or this.
Nope. Really
Because
weird
you
how
didn't
damage.
have to like take as much risk to get the initial hit for it. That is how combo scaling works.
It's really weird how damage scaling works, isn't it?
Not really. It makes sense. And now,
Yeah.
if you want to get into move specifics, then we can talk about some weird ones.
Mhm.
Like, for example, multi-hit moves. If, for some reason, the first hit misses, but the second hit connects, it does 1,000,000,000 times more damage. If you've ever seen someone block Ragna Carnage Scissors, but then get hit with the second hit, it does so much damage.
What the heck?
It's basically punishing you for being stupid. Because you blocked it, but then you didn't block it.
From the library, I presume.
Hey, that's me!
Oh, those strange clothes. You must be from Ikaraga.
I'm Jin Kisaragi from the library.
What does
You're
it
right!
mean?
It's a ninja! It's just like Chip from Guilty Gear.
Dare
Oh
You
my
guy's an
God.
asshole!
My name is Bang Shishigami.
Oh!
You've forgotten this face.
Admittedly, I kind of forget the Calamity Trigger artwork, Bang, not gonna lie.
But now that I've seen you,
You forget it?
I don't think I can do that anymore.
Very stylistic, but not as iconic as any of the future pieces of art.
My last
That's
bout with you-
Some of the
That's
characters
very
just
true.
don't look right.
That's very true. Like here, it looks like he's trying his best to look the coolest in the school yearbook photo, but he's just realizing, crap, I forgot the music. How am I gonna be able to take a photo without music?
Looking at a picture of Bang in a room with no background music is kind of just funny.
Yeah.
Jin hasn't said anything else this whole time, by the way. He's kind of just getting monologued at.
Never shut up.
Yeah, Mike Pokoisen Zappoli. I'm gonna shut you up, Bang Shishigami of Ikaruga.
I love Bang, but yeah.
The Jin Kisaragi Classic. The 3-stand throw.
Oh my gosh. Was that perfect?
Wasting my time.
It was the only canon result for Jin versus Bang.
It's a perfect. It's canon. It's a canon event. You didn't use a super that whole time.
Bang isn't important enough to be able to beat Jin yet.
Yeah, sadly. Great character. Just his importance to the story is not as there yet.
But what do you think, and you can take this as a general question or as a BlazBlue question after we watch this cutscene. What do you think constitutes a good character?
Master, I'm sorry.
He didn't say thud like he does every time he loses in story mode.
That's
And that is
true.
all I have to say about that.
For me, I guess what makes a good character for me is I'm a very complicated person because I like a lot of aspects about characters.
There can
Like-
be definitely a lot of different attributes that go into one.
Yeah.
Like, Ragna being a good character is very different from Severus Snape, you know?
Yes. Like the contribution that they have to the story in their respectable stories are so different from each other. But I guess in video
Depth
games.
as a character is a very general word, yeah.
Yeah.
Now I would actually argue that Bang has no depth in Calamity Trigger if you're looking at it in a vacuum.
Yeah.
You could actually argue the same thing for even some characters like Lychee, who didn't really have much going for them aside from her affection for Arachne, other than like a simple backstory of having worked for Kokonoe.
Yeah.
Again, if you're just looking at Calamity Trigger in a vacuum, there's a reason that they remade the game's story mode in Continuum Shift Extend.
Right. I don't know, because depth, it's like, it's context sensitive. Because in Persona 4, like Persona 4 and Persona 4 Golden, there's a character called Funky Student that all he does is he asks you questions about just random things in the game. And if you answer
Yeah,
them
I
right,
remember the Afro Boy.
yeah, he gives you something or wrong, he says, oh no, try again. And people love that character. He does what he does well. But he's not very in-depth. He has an afro. He asks you questions. He gives you some things if you get them right.
I think
But
that's just a meme, let's be honest.
that's a meme. But people love him. He's a beloved character. You could argue whether or not that makes him a good character.
I don't think so.
But
The wheel of fate is turning.
it is true that characters that aren't good characters are still liked. Depth does
What do you
make a
think
really good character.
BlazBlue has a bad character from what you've seen?
I would not say they do, mainly because every character has a lot going for them, especially as the games go on.
This is true. I think that BlazBlue, and this is something I've said like word for word about Danganronpa as well. Every single one of these characters could be the protagonist, like in their own game, and in a lot of ways, that's what they did with the story mode. With these story modes, how you play through every character's story, because they knew that each one of these characters like had enough to them to be focused in on.
Yep. Like they could
That
be
also helps
important
the
enough.
characters out to an extent as well. I think that some characters do fall off a bit later, but the foundation for some of the characters that fall off in these first couple of games is strong enough to sort of supplement that and make them a good character overall and make them not need as much attention later down the line because they gave so much time to each individual character in these earlier couple of games.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And it's like these characters, they're very visually appealing. Like they all look really good. To me, I think,
Just don't look at the Calamity Trigger artwork.
yeah. But even then, just like, not the character splash arts for when they're like the pre-game screen or whatever. Like, even the ones for the story, those arts are really, really good. Like, you definitely can tell the artists making these arts for the story are talented. They know what they're doing and they know how to give good art. And then you can
the
tell...
story art,
Yeah.
story art holds up even to this day. I really wish that they could have used the story art in the BB Tag story. I think that it's one of the BB Tag story's many shortcomings.
Yeah.
I think that Undernight's story actually has very similar art to BB Tag story, or to mainline BlazBlue story. Their mouths don't move like they do in BlazBlue, but other than that, they're just as high quality.
Yeah, they are.
Unfortunately, the ones used in the Persona games are modeled a bit differently. They look at the camera, close at each other. So you couldn't really just take all the story portraits from their games, especially considering Ruby doesn't have any.
Yeah, they had to.
It's
make
almost like they
everything
shouldn't
fresh.
have put that in the game, but whatever.
I still think it's such a big shame they didn't put Guilty Gear. Even one or two characters.
I remember talking about this a lot in the earlier stages. I actually made a video on this exact topic on should Guilty Gear have been in BlazBlue in BB Tag instead of Ruby?
Mm-hmm.
And I sort of changed my stance on this. Back then, I said no, it should not. Ruby was the right choice. Now I think Ruby is an abomination, but I still understand why Guilty Gear is not in the game. And I still feel, even though it would have been cool, it was probably the right decision. We could talk a little more about this after this this interaction.
Yeah.
If you return to your post right now. So, sir, please. You're a war hero with a very important position. If you don't go back, you could be tried as a deserter. Your trial would cause an uproar in the librarium.
Trials and BB lore, could you imagine?
This particular
Dang.
mission was assigned to me.
They really evolved from just, like, execution on the spot.
Get out of my way.
That's Tsubaki's mission as a member of the Zero Squadron.
Yeah.
Noelle was actually originally tasked for retrieval in this game.
Mm-hmm.
But that's only because Hazama was paired with her so we could watch over the whole thing.
Go die.
Jeez.
The wheel of fate is turning. Rebel 1. Action!
So have you figured out why Jin hates Noelle?
He reminds her of someone, right?
Yeah, we could say that for now.
Yeah. And I know that the sword is definitely not helping. But
Why do you look so similar?
I mean, kind of gives it away right there. Saying,
I
"Oh,
don't
what?"
think I've ever
what-
heard that. I'm not sure I've ever heard that quote before. Every time I've used a super on Noelle in this game, he always just screams "Noelle for million!" And I always thought that was awesome.
Yeah, there's so much emotion into those words that he does.
I do think Jin got less emotional as the series goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just for his, like, battle quotes. Which is understandable. But still sad. I wish we could get, like, continuum shift audio track for BB Tag. I'd love that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where you were.
Time for Ragna, the Blood Edge. Gotta love these early system voices.
Yeah.
I do think Continuum Shift 1 had the best system voice, which is a shame because you'll never hear it. You go straight to Extend.
Oh, that's right. I could always look it up, I guess.
This is an odd place. It's like time has completely stopped. You bastard! That was pretty harsh, just attacking me like that. Huh? You look injured. Are you okay? It's been a long time, hasn't it? You're reckless, as always, brother. Why the hell are you here, Jin? Why? I thought that was obvious. To see you, brother! What's so funny? Oh, I'm just happy you're alive. Now I get to kill you again!
The wheel of fate is turning.
They definitely chose the right person to voice Jin. He's the same person who voiced Gilgamesh in the Fate series.
My gosh, that damage.
And it's like the same performance.
Very nice. Very good choice there. We were talking about something before.
We're talking about Guilty Gear and BB Tag. We were talking about a lot of things.
That's right. That's the thing. And Ruby being in it.
Yeah, so I'm trying to curb my opinions on Ruby a bit because they're very strong and very negative. But Guilty Gear, I think, is a lot more interesting. Well, because you see, Guilty Gear is actually Arc System's main flagship franchise and always has been. The first Guilty Gear came out before the first BlazBlue, and the first Guilty Gear used 3D models came out before games like Dragon Ball Fighters, and is what made Bandai want to hire ArcSys for that job.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's pretty
So,
cool.
In a lot of ways, putting Guilty Gear in a game, in a BlazBlue titled game, that's not Guilty Gear X BlazBlue, would kind of be a disservice to the license.
Ooh, that's true. But then they would kind of have to do that with pretty much all of them.
I don't think so, because Persona, the Persona devs went to ArcSys to make their game, and ArcSys is directly responsible for the publication of Undernight, being the ones who published their game. They went to them as well.
Right.
So they owed a lot to Arc Systems, and BlazBlue is an Arc Systems game. It's not like the Persona or Undernight license, which technically doesn't belong to Arc System Works. I think that them being guest franchises makes perfect sense. But if Guilty Gear were to interact with BlazBlue, I think that it would only make sense in a game titled Guilty Gear X BlazBlue, or something of that nature.
That's true.
And a lot of people have been asking for that game ever since I first started playing fighting games. It's on the horizon.
Yeah.
Or I would have said that, except Mori left the company, so maybe not.
Oof.
Loading.
Oh, I'll see my piece after that. After this.
Loading. Loading. Complete.
Who are you?
Scanning. Complete. Auto mode. Confirm.
Yuki Anasa is reacting. Something's flowing into me. Information? No. These are memories.
Scanning. Complete. IFF determined. Processing. Subject is hostile. Activate termination protocol.
That's an observation you don't need much to tell.
So that's what you are. You are the enemy.
The wheel of fate is turning. Rebel 1. Action!
So what were you gonna say?
Right. So I personally feel like if they were to do a game that would basically cross over fighting games that they have either deals with, or for example, Guilty Gear and BlazBlue, it just feels weird for me if it's titled Guilty Gear Cross BlazBlue or something like that. And half the cast is from neither of those franchises. It just feels weird.
Yeah, I know.
It's like
And,
a
wasn't
Marvel vs.
saying-
Capcom thing, where if only one character is from one of the franchises. But I think
Well, that's
just
actually
me.
another reason why they couldn't have been in BB Tag at all, is because BB Tag wanted to be like a crossover between more franchises. I don't think that I think that Guilty Gear would only cross over with BlazBlue in a context where it would only be those two franchises.
Yeah. So the fact that P4 Arena or Under Iron Birth, it just, I don't know, making up half the cast makes it seem like it's not just cross this game cross this game with this game, because half the cast is all these other characters from different games.
Goodbye, Mr. Hero.
And it's a really big shame that they didn't include more characters from the games that they put characters in, like Arcana Heart, one character. And what was it that Senran Kagura, like one character. It just feels like a big shame. Oh,
Trying to act nice around others isn't my forte. And I'm not really that good around crowds of people either, brother.
I'm sorry. That's mine.
Oh, this? It can get really windy here, so you should be careful. Are you new here?
Yes, thank you very much. My name is Noelle Vermillion, a first year. I joined the military academy this year. Pleased to meet you.
I'm Jin Kisaragi, a third year. Nice to meet you. Miss Vermillion, was it? Isn't it a little rude to look at the ground when you greet people?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm very sorry, Jin. But could you give that back?
Huh? Oh, right. Here you go. Who the hell is that girl? Saying they look like twins would be an understatement. That girl looks just like her. Damn. Just when I was beginning to forget. How frustrating.
Or
So you still haven't pieced together who it is that Noelle reminds him of?
if I were to say anyone, I would assume like a sibling or a sister or something like that.
I gotcha. We may revisit this when you're done with the Continuum Shift True ending.
100%. I probably forgot about something super important.
Because it's kind of difficult to like tell you some things outright. Some things I know that they like said in the story mode in one of the games, and I can remind you. But some things they don't tell you, and you're supposed to figure it out. And so remembering when exactly you get the information you're supposed to derive certain things from can be a bit tricky.
Yeah.
Vermilion.
Very true.
All right, here we go.